have heard Pujya Swamiji say that we should do meditation in the morning, no reaction in the day, and self-reflection or introspection in the evening. But when I meditate in the mornings, I feel so sleepy afterwards that I just want to go back to bed. What should I do? There's a lot of factors at play here. Even though we are not a body, we have a body. And that's important to realize. It sounds very obvious. Naturally, we have a body. But as we embark on a spiritual path, what ends up happening a lot of times is as our awareness and our focus shifts from I'm not my body, it very quickly shifts into this subjugation of the body, this ignoring of the body. And there's a lot of spiritual practice that we do to remind us we're not the body. So for example, Pujya Swamiji had to stand on one leg 11 hours a day doing meditation. Now obviously there was a depth to it beyond just I'm not the body. But as the body aches, as it hurts, as you get tired, it teaches you, fatigue in the legs, but I'm still here. We have practices of fasting. We have practices of staying awake all night. Even married couples have practices of abstinence from sexual relationships. Why? Well, clearly at some point we're going to eat again. Clearly we're going to sleep again. Married couples, chances are going to have their sensual relationships again. Why abstain? We do that to teach us. My body is hungry, it wants food, but I'm fasting. My body is tired, it wants sleep, but I'm staying awake. And it teaches us not to give in to every call of the body, but it's very easy to quickly swing to the other end of the pendulum, to ignore illnesses of the body, pains of the body, physical hungers of the body, needs of the body, and sleep is one of them. So if you find that every morning when you wake up, it's very difficult to get up, no matter how many days in a row you do it. It's difficult for everybody in the beginning. But if you find that it's always difficult and it doesn't get better, that may be a signal that you're staying awake too late at night. It's very simple. Your body may need more sleep. See what happens if you go to sleep an hour earlier. Or push through the morning and sleep for an hour in the afternoon. But don't ignore it as though the body were just a massive inanimate object that you have to subjugate and become in control over. If it's telling you, hey, wait, I'm exhausted here, listen to it. Because when you don't listen to the body when it whispers, it doesn't go away. It just starts to shout. And it'll shout in different ways. It'll shout in different illnesses. So be aware of the body, and be aware, though, on a more subtle level, that sometimes if you find that you are getting enough sleep, if you find that if you get up to do something other than meditate, like when you get up in the morning, instead of meditating, you go straight on Facebook, then you're not tired, that's a signal to look at what's coming up for you in meditation. That's a signal that chances are it's not the body that's needing more sleep, but it's the ego, it's the mind that's really not wanting to meditate. And that's where you have to just create a discipline and sit. A lot of times when we sit to meditate, things come up. It's very easy during the day to be too busy. But when we sit quietly, we close our eyes, no distractions, that's when the mirror of our life comes right up in front of our face. Now, we're not supposed to analyze it at that time. We're not supposed to judge it or go into the drama. It's not what meditation is. But nonetheless, simply coming face to face with that, for a lot of us, is very uncomfortable. And so it's very easy for the body to just decide, oh, I'm too tired, forget this meditation thing, I've got to go to sleep. It's just so much easier to slip into dream-like, kind of sort of awake, sort of asleep, hallucination, dreamy consciousness than to stay with the meditation. This is where discipline is really required. Sincerely required. Just stay with it. And tell yourself sincerely, not going back to sleep. If you can be wide awake from looking at Facebook, if you can be wide awake reading sports scores, if you can be wide awake on your email in the morning, not an issue with the body. We're going to meditate. You know, a lot of times we act without thinking, what we call thoughtless action. And we know the severe repercussions of that. Acting without thinking. We say things we shouldn't say. We do things we shouldn't do. But on the flip side of that, we also have what we call actionless thought. And that's actually just as dangerous. Meaning, I have a thought that says I really should get up and meditate every day. I have a thought that says I'm going to get up early in the morning and I'm going to have a spiritual practice. I'm going to set my alarm and I'm going to get up. And just as dangerous as thoughtless action is, so is actionless thought. And so if you make a commitment to yourself, I'm going to get up and meditate, make sure you do. Or tell yourself, forget it, I'm not going to do it. That's also your prerogative. We all have free will. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't do it because someone here says to you, you should do it. Do it because inside you know that's something you want. And if it's not something you want, then wait till it is something you want. But don't create a pattern of identification that says, yeah, I make all these commitments and I don't fulfill them. Because that's very dangerous for your life. That's a very dangerous way of understanding the self, is yeah, I commit to things and I don't do them. It's better don't commit. It's better just say, I'm not interested in meditation. Or I'm not interested in getting up, I'll meditate in the night. That's also your prerogative. You've got thousands and thousands of years of spiritual teaching saying the morning hour is very divine. But if you know better, no problem. We have free will. And so if you make a commitment to do something, do it. Because if you don't, it sets up a very damaging way of thinking about yourself. And it sets you up for your whole life, whatever it is that you want. Of saying, well, I'm just kind of that sort of person who makes a commitment and I don't follow through. I'm the type of person who makes a commitment and then makes excuses. You don't want to have that way of understanding yourself. It's better just to say, I'm the person for whom morning meditation does not work. Evening works. Okay. Really, no problem. There absolutely are people for whom their circadian rhythm, their body clocks, are much better in the evening. No problem. It's actually better for you in the long run to sleep late every morning, commit to meditate in the evening and do it, than to commit to meditate in the morning and not do it. If after you meditate, you feel sleepy, take another cold shower. Take one first before you meditate. And if you're sleepy after you meditate, take another one. But don't allow yourself to get into this habit of getting back into bed unless you find that you're meditating in the middle of the night. Some people wake up in the middle of the night. It happens to me with jet lag. Find myself with jet lag, wide awake, 2 o'clock in the morning. Have a nice meditation, go back to sleep. But in general, after your meditation, don't go back into that state of dullness of the mind. Just take a cold shower, get up, have a cup of tea, take a walk, drink some water, whatever you need. And if you need to sleep a little bit in the afternoon, sleep a little bit in the afternoon. But allow that discipline to happen. It may take a little while, but stick with it. It's going to create what we call sanskaras, which are impressions in you. In the world of science, we call them neural networks, neural patterns that actually dictate the habits and the way that I live. So create them and live them.